Nathaniel. I'm 18 and I grew up in a Christian family in Tottenham in North London. And there was this youth leader of the Message Trust, this Christian charity, which does evangelism. That means going out onto the streets, telling people about the good news of Jesus. Anyways, there was this youth leader and he lived in Enfield, which is the borough right next to the one I live in. So not too far. And also the church that I grew up in, I loved going to church. I loved the people. I loved the environment. And I always wanted to get more and more involved. So I went to all the Christian festivals, all the events, all the days out, and I loved it. And my church was in Enfield, in his borough. So one day maybe not one day, but he decided to get connections with all of the churches, as many churches as he could, including my church. And what he would do is he would get all the youth from all the churches in Enfield, and we would all meet up together one Saturday a month, and we would go up and evangelize, go share the gospel with people, share the good news, and also praying for people on the streets. He would also give us a talk as well, and I learned so much from that. I learned more than I did at church, actually, because it was kind of personalized to us young people. And anyway, we would go out and tell other strangers about Jesus, about the good news, and praying for people. And I was doing that since I was 13, before I even really knew what the gospel was all about. So I was telling other people before I had fully realized it myself. And that kind of put me in the deep end. That kind of made me think, right, what do I actually believe? That kind of forced me to develop my faith. And when someone would ask me a question and I would get stuck, I would have to go home, work it out, and that really developed my faith for me. But at that stage, my faith was still developing slowly. And anyway, we're going to year 10. Year 10 in school was such an amazing year for me. It was one of the best years because I had so much fun. I was messing around. I just remember having so much fun with my friends, but also myself, being funny, being a bit of a class clown, messing around, giving a hard time to the teachers. And it was so exciting that year. But the thing about that year was my mood was always up and down, because I would be having a great day, making jokes, being on good terms with everyone. Then at the end of the day, let's say I make a joke, it wouldn't bang, it would be a terrible joke. And everyone would look at me and just tell me to shut up. And I would go home feeling like that was the worst day. I would go home feeling worthless, feeling just really down. So as you can imagine, my satisfaction, my happiness depended on other people and the validation they gave to me, and my own jokes as well, my own capabilities. These things are not things you can rely on. These things are always going to be up and down. And anyway, after year 10, in the summer, I signed up to do the scattering, which is with the Message Trust charity, the same charity I did stuff with. And what they would do is basically a week in the summer of staying at a church with other young people, going out evangelizing every day. And that week was probably the biggest jump in my faith, because when I realized there's actually the spiritual realm is real. Jesus is something worth living for. It's not worth living for clout, for jokes, or for other people, but Jesus is actually worth living for. I'm in. I want to live for this. I want to live like this. And soon later I got baptized. And ever since then, even in school, my mood has not been up and down. It's been constant. I've had a constant joy, because I know that the only validation that matters for me is validation from God. And I've got that in abundance. And that doesn't depend on my behavior. God loves me. God loves me more than I can do anything about it. And nothing else matters. What people think of me don't matter, as long as I'm obeying God. And I've got a place in heaven already sorted for me. So yeah, that is my testimony. Thank you for listening.